What's going on, guys? It's Alex here, and today we're going to be speculating what could happen in chapter 140 of Chainsaw Man, using the chapter 140 bingo board provided to us by the Redditor Consumer Souls, predicting what could happen next chapter. I thought I would give my own opinions and theories based on this bingo board, and if you want to skip to the different parts of this video, timestamps will be in the description of this video. Okay, so starting off, Asa already knows about the hybrid devils. I highly doubt Asa or even Yoru, for that matter, is even aware of the hybrids or what a hybrid even is. We saw that even the general public views Denji as nothing more than a regular devil, and in part 1 it was shown that only public safety and governments around the world were even aware of humans being able to turn into devils at will without having to make a devil contract. And unlike Makima, who knew the hybrids were and a lot of lore around them, and the Famine Devil, who is implied to know a lot about the hybrid devils as well, Yoru doesn't seem to be aware of what a hybrid even is, despite being a member of the Four Horsemen. So as such, we're going to be giving this run the Red X. We'll learn more about the Famine Devil's plans. Okay, I'm fully expecting this chapter to be mainly focused on the Chainsaw Man Church, its hierarchy, and just what they're actually doing opposed to what they're saying to the general public. I could totally see the Famine Devil observing Denji in the shadows as he's talking to the other members of the Chainsaw Man Church. Or, and this is a big if, the Famine Devil speaks to Denji, only she's letting her human host do all the talking and interactions with him. Because if you remember in chapter 111, after Yuko went to solve Asa's bullying problem and got her head lopped off, we see a girl that Asa and Denji saved from Yuko's rampage sleeping along with Asa and Denji that looks a lot like the Famine Devil, only with freckles and no moles. I always found it strange that Fujimoto decided to make a panel dedicated to this character we don't even have a name for, and it could be because, similar to the War Devil, who also didn't understand human society and was also in a weakened state, she took a form of the owl. She also took on a host of a human girl that goes on to Denji's school to get close to him. So I'm gonna give these two the green check marks. Denji meets Asa. Okay, I don't think we're going to be getting a meeting with these characters for a while. If anything, when we finally get a chapter revolving more around Asa, something that I hope we get, because we haven't seen a good one in a while, is probably going to explore more of her time in the Chainsaw Man Church, and I'm fully expecting members of the church, specifically Haruka, maybe even one of the hybrids, to bring Denji up. And maybe in a VIP section of the Chainsaw Man Church, exclusive to the high-ranking members within the organization, which I imagine would be semi-professional on one hand, where you have people that are super serious about it, and then for the rest, it might just be like a giant frat house, given what Sugo has commented. And the reaction that Asa will probably have when Denji is mentioned is going to be one of anger. I mean, after all, Denji did stand her up, at least in her mind, but also one of mystery, given that you should have told her to stay away from Denji. But I fully expect when she learns of Denji's high position, Asa and Yoru will begin to piece together that Denji isn't just a regular horny teenage boy. And what will seal the deal on this is when Haruka asks Asa about her date with Denji, because in chapter 118, when Denji asked Asa out to the movies for their second date, Asa really didn't want to do that. Instead, she wanted to watch a VHS tape. And the problem was that Denji was the only one that actually had a VHS player, and he had told Asa that if he broke any of the rules at his apartment, then she would actually die, and Haruka was there when that went down before they went on their second date. And this part, unless Fujimoto forgot, will play a lot into Asa learning the truth about Denji, and maybe even her remembering the second date that she had with him. We've seen a mysterious guy from chapter 113 that put his hand on Haruka's shoulder. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this person is just a Justice Devil who took on a humanoid form. That just seems really obvious, but we could see him make an appearance, given that we know that the Justice Devil is the one who likely gave some of the hybrids the ability to turn into their hybrid forms through a contract. Take, for example, Fake Saw Man, who stated he got his devil abilities from making a contract with the Justice Devil. So you could say he's acting as their leader behind the scenes, and maybe even using Fake Saw Man as a figurehead for the group as a leader of the hybrid devils. Christian symbolism. Chainsaw Man is littered with a ton of Christian symbolism. I mean, if you even look at few of the Chainsaw Man openings, Denji is often displayed as Jesus, while Makima is represented as Mother Mary. So I'm fully expecting there to be Christian imagery there. I'm just wondering how Denji's reaction will be to this, especially the sacrificial part of it. Devil hunting scene. Now, as much as I would love to see Denji and Sugo fight devils in his human form, especially now that Denji is a lot stronger outside of his Chainsaw Man form and certainly a lot faster. I mean, Sugo literally thought that he teleported down the stairs. I'm not getting the vibe that it'll be the case, given that during Sugo's Naruto speech telling Denji about the Chainsaw Man Church, it made it seem like Denji and Sugo alike would just be glorified errand boys, who really wouldn't have to put themselves in harm's way, although killing doubles for Denji and Sugo I imagine would be like a regular day of taking out the trash, so for them it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if we do get a sequence of the two of them fighting doubles together, we could see Sugo explaining more about the Chainsaw Man Church. I mean, I'm fully expecting him to be the one to give Denji the tour of the church, and we could even learn more about Sugo's backstory and the two of them bonding and becoming friends, which is something Denji does really need given that all he has right now is Nayuta, the dogs, and Maori. And Fumiko, who I think will tag along with Denji just to keep an eye on him and maybe even cause a scene at the church. Okay, the next one a lot of people are anticipating is Riza comes back. Now, at this point, I'm fully expecting that most of the hybrids that we saw in part 1 are going to come back, along with some new ones are going to appear. But in terms of Riza, I almost feel like she isn't going to appear, or I almost don't want her to appear. And the reason why I say this is, narratively speaking, it doesn't make a lot of sense for a character to be a part of the Chainsaw Man Church, given that Riza would be smart enough to see the church for what it really is. I mean, we all saw in part 1, Riza wasn't someone who was content with following orders of being a part of an organization. I was more than willing to run away with Denji in the hopes of living a peaceful life together, free from other people. And let's be real, if Riza was a part of the Chainsaw Man Church, it would make a lot more sense to send her over to talk to Denji at Denji's school, instead of sending Sugo, given that she has more of a connection and history with Denji, and is one of the few people who genuinely understand him and understands what he really wants, a genuine human connection, something that I do think Riza could have given him, with the fact that they both experienced the same trauma and had similar pasts to one another. And this is just me giving my own personal opinion. It just wouldn't be a good choice for Fujimoto to introduce a female character who, if we're being real, was liked by the fanbase possibly even more than Asa, who's supposed to be the main character of Chainsaw Man Part 2, but lately she's felt more like a secondary character, or even a side character. And honestly, it makes me wonder, despite the high volume sales of the manga, if in Japan there's a situation similar to DBZ when it had its run, where Gohan was set up to be the main character, but eventually support of this character was so bad, Toriyama, who was the author of Dragon Ball Z, decided to bring Goku back as the main character to boost manga sales. And it makes me wonder if SHUEISHA expressed to Fujimoto that had he made Denji the main focus of part 2, if the manga sales would have been even higher than they already are. Because you have to understand, at the end of the day, although Fujimoto has a lot of freedom when it comes to writing Chainsaw Man, I mean, it is a business, and he's being paid by a company to write a story that would have the maximum amount of volume sales, along with the merchandise that goes with the manga, but also the anime whenever part 2 actually gets adapted. Okay, going over the final things we have on the bingo board, hybrids will learn about Nayuta. Now, I don't think it's going to happen in this chapter, but I suspect we're going to be getting more of an explanation of how most of the hybrid doubles game under the effects of Makima's control. And Denji, even though he makes a lot of dumb decisions, likely won't mention Nayuta, given a negative stigma that there is around a control double, with some of them could even want to take revenge on a little girl, despite this control double technically not being the person who controlled and manipulated all of them. And although Nayuta may be the one who would know the truth about the Chainsaw Man Church, and despite viewing them as a form of entertainment for the chaos that they're causing, she probably wouldn't want Denji to be involved with them, knowing that the fam double has been manipulating certain events and placing Denji in situations not even he could get himself out of. And final predictions that we have are related to Yoshida, and one of them is interesting. The first one is Yoshida tries to intervene, and I don't think this will actually happen, given that it's now obvious that Yoshida has another job to play, because before Yoshida was the one assigned to be Denji's bodyguard and keep an eye on him, but he's seemingly being replaced by Fumiko. And we don't know the full context of why yet. I mean, it could be that public safety was upset with Yoshida for not being able to handle Denji, or Yoshida had Fumiko assigned to this role because he knew he wasn't capable of handling Denji and being able to manipulate him. So he felt that Fumiko would have a better chance than he would dealing with his antics and Denji's insanity. Because we saw how Yoshida seemingly almost lost his own sanity and composure just dealing with Denji's stupidity, And this isn't even the worst thing Denji has ever done. But that was the bingo board for chapter 140 of Chainsaw Man. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys thought of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.